Now this has changed to type, changed to account. Then from here you can select your GL accounts from here. If you untick this option, you can view inventory items. Okay, I'll go through briefly. First one, warn when duplicate customer reference used on customer invoice. That means if you take this option, if you are entering duplicate customer reference numbers when you are processing customer transactions, system will pop up a message you are entering duplicate customer reference numbers. Then second one is warn when duplicate supply invoice number used on supply invoices. When you are entering supply invoices, you can enter supply invoice number here, and if you are entering duplicate supply invoice number, system will pop up a message you are entering duplicate invoice number. If you want to get an alert, you can tick this option. If you don't want to get an alert, you can untick these options. Then next one is display inactive customers for selection when processing. And if you untick this option, your inactive customers will not display for processing transaction. That means for quotations, sales orders, invoices, those inactive customers will not display. If you tick this option, that inactive customers also display in the transactions. Fourth one, display inactive supplier for selection when processing. That means if you inactive any supplier, those suppliers will not display when processing transaction such as supplier purchase order, supply invoices, those transactions. Inactive customers, inactive suppliers will not display. If you tick this option, those inactivated suppliers also display. Next one, display inactive customers for selection on reports. And if you tick this option, inactivated customers also will display, because it's better if you tick this option, because we need inactivated customers transactions for the reports. And if you untick this, those inactivated customers transactions will not display for reports. Okay. Next one, display inactive supplier for selection on reports. If you inactivated any supplier, if you tick this option, those suppliers also will display for reports. And if you untick this option, inactivated suppliers will not display for reports. Okay. Next one, use inclusive processing on customer supply document by default. If you untick this option, exclusive amount will display in the transaction screen. And if you tick this option, inclusive amount will display. That is, with tax amount will display in the screen. Then last one, use account as default document line by type selection. If you untick this option, type item will display as type. And if you tick this option, account will show as type. If it is a type, you can, from this selection, you can select only inventory items. And if you select account as type, from here you cannot select inventory items. You can select only GL accounts. Okay. If you have any questions, you can ask. Okay, next we will move to item settings. First one, warn when item quantities fall below 0. Now, sometimes when you are invoicing, you may not have items in the system. For an example, now if you have particular item has only 3 quantities, but you are going to invoice for 5. In that case, the system will warn when item quantities below 0, because you have only 3, you are going to invoice for 5. In that case, system will pop up a message that quantities fall below 0. Now, second one is do not allow item quantities fall below 0. If you tick on this option, you cannot process those transactions. Now, if you tick this option, first one, warn, it's only warning, but you can process the transaction. Okay, but if you select tick on second option, you cannot process the transaction. Okay, and also you cannot tick both. Either you need to select either one. Okay, either first one or second one. And if you tick first option, if you have 3, system will allow to process the transaction even quantities fall below 0. System only display a message. But if you tick second option, system will not allow to process the transaction. Okay, now for an example, if you have 3 quantities, you are going to invoice for 5. If you tick first option, you can process the transaction, but if you tick second option, you can invoice only for 3. Okay, because you have 3, you can invoice only for 3. Next one, third one, warn when item cost is 0. Now, when you are entering purchase orders or supplier invoices, system will pick up those costs to the system as item cost. Okay, when you are purchasing, when you are entering GRN, system will identify these items cost is this much. So when you are processing any transaction, when you are entering customer invoices, if that cost is 0, system will make an alert, because system will think you haven't entered that item purchase price, therefore it will be a mistake. Okay, therefore system will warn when item cost is 0, and if you are untick this, the system will not warn to you, and system will not show any message. Okay, if you want to get an alert, you can tick this option. Then fourth one, warn when selling price is below cost. Now, most probably your selling prices above the cost. Okay, now if you are selling your items below the cost, if you tick this option, system will warn, and if you untick, system will not consider it's an error, and you can process the transaction. Okay, fourth option is warn when item selling price is below cost. Normally we are selling above the cost price, therefore system will think it's a mistake. So if you want to get an alert, if you are selling prices below the cost, you can tick this option. Okay, next one, display inactive items for selection on document lines. It's like that customer supply inventory, customer supplier when we are processing transaction. If you untick this option, now I'll show you how to inactivate an item. If you are discontinue a particular item, you can inactive that item from here. If you untick this option, that item will inactive. And if you untick this option, display inactive items for selection on document lines, when you are processing a transaction, that item will not display. Okay, if you take this option, inactive items also display when processing transaction, but if you untick this option, inactivated items will not display for processing transaction. Okay. Next one is display inactive items for selection on reports, and if you have inactivated any items when you are generating reports, now here display inactive items for selection on reports, I have unticked this option, therefore it will not display for reports. If you tick this option, inactivated items will display for reports. It's very similar to that customer and supplier inactive items. Then next one is sales order reserved item quantities. Okay, now from system you can enter customer quotations, sales orders, tax invoices. Okay. Now sometimes your customers will send purchase orders. At that time you are entering sales order and you want to reserve those quantities for that particular customer, and if you tick this option, those sales order items will reserve for customers. Okay, quantity reserved, this option will be disabled if sales orders exits in the company, and if you tick this option, those sales orders quantities will reserve for that customers. Okay, if you want to reserve any sales order quantities for a customer, please tick. And if you don't want to reserve quantities, you can untick this option. Okay, and next one, display inactive item bundles for selection on document lines. I'll quickly go through that bundle items. Actually, you can get a better understand about when you are doing the transactions or you are creating master files, but I'll quickly go through these bundle items. Now for an example, when you are selling computers, in computers there may be mouse, keyboard, speakers, system unit, like that there are many parts. Okay, you can create from here, you can set what are the components of a particular item and what is the quantity, and when you are going to invoicing or when you are entering a quotation, if you select this item, all other components also display in the invoice. I'll show you an example. Now I'll enter quotation. Now I'll select computer here. First select bundle, then computer, then all other parts also will display in the screen. Okay, now I have select only COM001, but other parts also display in this screen. Okay, now from here display inactive item bundles for selection on document line. That means if you are inactivated any bundle item, if you untick this option, that bundle item will not display in the screen. Okay, when you are processing transaction, those inactivated bundle items will not display in the document lines. If you tick this, inactivated items also will display in the document lines. Then use perpetual inventory system. Actually, this is a add-on module. There are few add-on modules. Add-on means actually system general system has some features, and if you want to add more features, those are the add-on modules. You can activate those add-on modules from here. Okay, next session we will discuss how to increase your number of users or number of companies and licenses. Now here use perpetual inventory. If you take this option, you can view your inventory items, and you can get valuation reports for that perpetual inventory system. And also before this, sometimes you cannot see this use perpetual inventory. Next session we will activate that option. Okay. Then time tracking setting. From here also, this option is, if you activated this option, display inactive projects for selection on document lines, then those inactivated lines will not display for projects. And also you can set a lockdown date for that transaction entering period. Okay, when we are entering that financial year also, we have set lockdown date. Same way for time tracking also, you can set a lockdown date. Okay, next one is outstanding balances. Now in your system there may be monthly tick, and if you tick on this option for when you are generating that outstanding report, now you can generate outstanding report as age analysis, current, 30 days, 6 days, 90 days, 120 days. Now there are two, actually if you tick this monthly option, that customer outstanding will calculate from end of the month. Okay, now for an example, you are entering 20th of January, 21st of January, one particular invoice. Now if you take this option, that outstanding will calculate end of that particular month. For an example, now if you are invoicing January 21st, and system will calculate from 1st of February. Okay, it will calculate that age analysis as 1st of January, 1st of February, and if you untick this option, actual date will calculate. Okay, if you tick this option, system will calculate that invoices after end of the month. It will calculate the number of days, but if you untick this option, system will calculate correct actual number of days. Okay, then next one is age, aging based on due date or invoice date. Now for an example, when you are creating customer, you can enter credit period for that customer. Okay, from here you can add a customer, you can enter credit period for here, due date for payment, and now if you run aging based on due date, system will consider that invoice plus that now for here, for an example, I'll enter 30 days for that credit period. Now if you select invoice date, when you are generating the aging analysis, it's calculate the correct actual number of days. But if you select run aging based on due date, and then system will calculate age analysis as invoice days plus this due date. For an example, if you are enter any invoice 1st of January and your credit period is 30 days, and for aging analysis it will calculate from 31st of January, because you have 30 days due date for that invoice. But if you select this run aging based on invoices, system will calculate outstanding from 1st of January. Okay, there are two options. First one, invoice days. If you select this option, system will calculate actual days from the for an example, first to invoice 1st of January you invoice, then system will calculate it will calculate number of days from 1st of January. And if you select run aging based on due date, now if you are giving any credit period, for this example we have given 30 days, system will calculate age analysis from 30th January. Okay, you have invoice 1st of January and you have 30 days credit period, system will calculate age analysis from 30th January. Okay, there are two options. Mostly companies use invoice date, but if you want to consider that credit period, customer credit period, and generate the report, you can select due date. Or if you want to get age analysis as actual invoice date, then you can select this invoice date. Okay, are we clear? First, if you tick on this monthly, system will calculate end of that particular calendar month. But if you are untick this option, system will calculate from actual number of days. And if you are generating the age analysis, there are two options, invoice date and due date. If you select invoice date, it will not consider that credit limit, credit period of that customer. And if you select due date, system will generate the report considering that number of credit period days. Okay. According to your company requirement, you can change these settings. If you have any questions, you can ask. Okay, next we will move to personal information. Now, actually this is only requirement due to Data Protection Act. From here you can select number of days, number of years, your retention period, that customer supplier details, and you can select how many years you are keeping that customers or suppliers data, and you can enter a reason why you are keeping these details. So it's you can select any number of days, and also after this particular period also you can increase that number of years, and nothing will happen to your saved data. This is only due to Data Protection Act, and you can select any number of years and you can enter any reason for why you are keeping years. Normally in Sri Lanka, I think 5 years we need to keep all records. So you can select here if you want. You can select 5 years, and you can enter reason as audit. And if you want keep more period, you can select 10 years and you can enter reason. This is only because of Data Protection Act. Okay, then we will move to tax settings. If you are a tax registered company, you can select that invoice based GST, and if you are a not tax registered company, you can select no tax. Then all tax will be disappear. From here, if you are a tax registered company, for demo purposes, for training purposes, I select this invoice based GST. Okay, sorry for the inconvenience, some internet connection issue. So are you clear? You can hear, right? Okay, from here you can create tax rate by clicking this plus mark. You can add tax rate and you can enter that tax rate, tax name, and you can enter the rate here. Okay, like this, you can create tax rate, and if you want to remove any tax rate, by clicking this red color button, you can delete tax rate. Okay, from here you can by clicking this green color button, you can add tax rate, and you can enter the tax name and tax rate. And from this default, if you are using mostly currently actually VAT rate is 80, therefore you can set as default tax rate. Okay, default tax rate, you can stick from here, and you can add or remove any tax rate from here. And under tax details, you can enter tax number, and you can enter that last tax period end date and last tax submission date and tax period frequency. If you are paying tax quarterly, you can enter 3, and if you are entering if you are paying taxes monthly, you can enter 1 here. Okay, and this tax system, invoice based SST is not relevant for Sri Lanka. The second option, invoice based GST, relevant for Sri Lanka. And if you are not tax registered company, you can select no tax, and if you are tax registered company, you can select this invoice based GST. Okay, and after you create tax rate, you can save. Okay. From here, we can create tax rates. And if you are a tax module, if you are activated, you can view that tax rate from when you are processing transactions. Okay, from here you can select that tax types. Now this system will display that the selling price is below the cost price. We discuss when you are doing that item setting. Okay, now it will calculate the tax as 8%. Okay, like this, you can add tax rate. Now, currently tax rate is 8%. If in the future government change the tax rate, you can add, or you can yeah, probably you need to add new tax rate, and you can enter name and tax rate here, and you can create a new tax rate. Okay, if you have any questions, you can ask. Okay, are you convenient without a break? Is it okay? No, it's only 2 hours, so without a break we can continue. So we will wind up for today, and if you have any questions, you can ask, and we will share some user manuals with you in next session. And if you want to practice, you can create a new company. You can log into our website www.peachtreecompany.com, pwholdings.lk, and you can register for new company. And from the same email address, you cannot create another company. If you have different email address, you can register from that different email address. Okay, if you have any questions, you can ask. Or else we'll wind up for today. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.